So often we are told that if we do not eat something and even keep eating something almost continuously, that we can barely do anything. We've got to keep the carbs flowing, keep the energy coming in. And it has this subtle implication that we are weak and fragile. Fasting showing us the complete opposite. There is power inside of the body. There is energy in here, and it is waiting to be unlocked. The need for constant consumption is definitely not the end of the story. When we train and we lean into the power of the body, we can help to unlock the energy within us, help us become both leaner and stronger at the same time. And I have really personally experienced this over the last week. I have been major leaning in to hiking and fasting. Took a family summer vacation this last week, North Carolina, Blue Ridge Mountains, and we did 6 straight days of hiking, big hikes. I'm going to share some pictures of that with you. Here is me up at the top of a mountain. I climbed, I did fasting hiking this week. I did straight OMAD, 1 meal a day, and hiked all day, and then a dinner meal. And so I'm going to tell you about my experience and take your questions. I'd love to hear how you are doing. And we're going to lean into this physiology because I want this session to be an inspiration to you. Not that you have to go climb up on a mountain, but that we can just take the amount of this concept that we want into our life. Some amount of fasting space, whatever feels like joy and openness and positivity, some amount of movement, you bring these two together. And to me, this is a major, major unlock. I climbed up one day at our Pinnacle hike, a literal Pinnacle hike, WinterStar Mountain in North Carolina. And it is labeled as one of the most arduous hikes, if not the most arduous hike. East of the Mississippi, name you. We're not hiking in the Rockies, okay. 3,000 foot elevation gain over the course of 5 miles. And then you got to unwind it back down. And it was so inspiring. I was just completely inspired by the whole process, sitting up at the top of the mountain, looking out at the beauty of this space, and then feeling it in the fasting space, which is something I told the story of the century, of my century ride the other week, which I didn't do any fasting. I was like, I'm taking it easy on this, but I've done it in the past. I did a 100-mile ride, fasting space. And, you know, as I was reflecting on it, I was like, I don't know. It was an interesting experience. It felt great doing it, training to do it. And so I've been taking this season of time that we're in, our Lean In Challenge. How are you doing with it? Week 4 since we launched it. What has your experience been? Let me know in the comments, whether for good or bad. Of course, I'm happy to hear. I say share the love and share the struggle of the journey. Whatever the reality is, we're focused on the reality. But my thought heading out hiking, I was just reflecting on the century ride and the different ones that I've done, different exercise I've done fasting. And I was really feeling it. I was like, man, I need to lean into this fasting space and just want to experience it. And so I'll tell you my experience. I'll share you a few pictures as I share my experience with it. So first hike we did, and we'll get back to me at the top of the mountain. First hike we did, North Carolina, Hawksbill Mountain, we did when we got there. And so this is a view. The peak off in the center is Table Rock, and so we're viewing off from the top as we got up there. So my experience doing OMAD most of the time, I would say there was a transition for it. The first day, okay, when we're driving in, with the family, we saw a Carolina roadside barbecue, and everybody's like, oh, we should stop. Everybody wants lunch. We've been driving. And so day one, and this is a point, you're doing OMAD. This can be flexible. You're doing any type of fasting, can be intuitive, flexible, fitted into your life. Everybody wants to stop for this barbecue. Is so incredible. So I ate lunch day one, and then I left it at that. Got a half rack of Carolina barbecue ribs. Incredible. It was so good. And that was good. And then have fasting evening, okay? And so then the evening we got in. This hike to get up this mountain, some of the best views. This was 360-degree views. And so looking around at a different point on that mountain, say this was the beginning of that fasting space. Had a lunch and then hike in the evening. To me, I say you're looking for fasting space. This photo looking out of this mountain, look at that space. I mean, to me, this is just a major metaphor for what we want in life. Space on the top of a mountain is showing us such an incredible imagery of that. Open up some space, see the big picture of life and health, and the beauty of this experience. So we had 6 straight days of hiking. We were out of Madison here for 10 days and some travel on the side. Stopped and saw some family. I'll show a quick photo of that too. But 6 straight days of hiking. Kicked off the first one with a lunch and then fasting evening hike as we're getting in. And more views from the top of that mountain. And then the rest of the hiking that I did, grab a coffee in the morning and head out and hit the trail. First day of that, I felt it was like a little bit like to get going with it. And then the next days, every day that I did it, I felt stronger. And leading to this Pinnacle hike, WinterStar Mountain, that was so intense, so long. Hiking all day from morning till evening, and just feeling the energy flowing. This is what I want to inspire you. I want people to be able to experience this type of thing. Feeling so good, feeling like the energy is just flowing in the body, feeling like a switch has been flipped and it is unlocked. That's how I felt. I felt, man, I have unlocked some energy in this system that I have been looking for. And that is a beautiful thing to find on a vacation, Different types of vacations you could have. Here is just a picture on the trail. This Blue Ridge Mountains, I guess, is the world's headquarters for rhododendrons. It's a rhododendron forest, and they were blooming while we were there. And so it's just, thousands of them everywhere. So beautiful. I want everybody to get inspired. I want people to see, I see what is happening. Body is storing energy for me. Energy is here to power life and experience. I tell people fasting space can start very, very small, and it can stay very, very small and simple, especially if that's what you need, if that is the right thing. Never any pressure to have to do anything. And look at all the disclaimers that I have. I'm not telling anybody to go do an arduous hike, on day one, that is probably not going to be pleasant, but training yourself, opening up, just taking a walk. That's the next step. I always say you got to walk before you can run, and you got to be able to sit before you can walk. And so it is enough in a fasting space just to sit. Maybe you find a beautiful spot, sit and look at the rhododendron flowers, and then realize in that space, okay, body is still working. It's using energy. And as we are gaining in strength, that fasting is its own kind of strength. People get, okay, how much weight can I lift? What kind of anabolic strength do I have, and how far fast can I run, you know, some sort of aerobic strength. But a fasting strength is like how tuned in is the body to using the energy within it. And something like a hike it's not a sprint, it's like a low level but continuous activity. That is like prime weight loss space, prime fasting space. Just keep the energy flowing at low level. So next day, we did the Hawksbill that night, and then the next day we got up, we climbed Grandfather Mountain, and this was a pretty interesting hike. A lot of these ladders, I took the photo here of the ladder, so climbing up, there's like cables. This is a difficult hike. You're like basically climbing straight up the face of this for a long period. I mean, there's probably 2 miles you do that is like normal hiking, and then there's, you know, a mile and a half where there's like cables and ladders that you're trying to go up. So couldn't bring the dog on this one. They stayed at the Airbnb, and but what an interesting experience. I took this photo on the way up, just thought I'd share it to give a little framing to our discussion. So we are sitting here in a health space. I'm talking to you about the power that is within the human body, that we are trying together to enact the practices that help life and health to flourish in the body. And to me, this photo, like as I saw it, I'm hanging on a cable, I think on the side of the thing. I don't know. We're right on all these rocks. And, you know, in this rhododendron forest, and then here's a baby rhododendron growing out on the side of the rock. And then we've got the fungi here. And it's like, to me, this is the whole cycle of life, right? In a photo, right? We've got birth and we've got death and and then the death and the fungi are recycling and releasing the energy back in. And this is the cycle of life in one photo. And so I just thought it was a beautiful little scene. And can help us zoom out. You know, that's what I want to do. You see something like that, you see nature, we are a part of this, and then you know, you can dial in on some big thinking also and realize, well, we're in a cycle like that too, and wherever we are at in this cycle, our practices, we're trying to focus on the green side, you know? We're trying to lean into the life side and squeeze as much life and health and vitality out of it as possible. And but realize, like, there's an end date to this experience too. Brings to me a bit of a sense of urgency to it, a bit of a thing that's not something we like to think about a lot, but it's something in medicine, of course, we just think about all the time. And to me, it just highlights the beauty of it and the importance of it. And as I was looking at it anyway, I'm saying, man, let us super dial in, you know? Let us dial in as much as possible and squeeze as much health out of this as possible. And this is what excites me about the space that we are in right now, is a fasting space is like we are barely scratching the surface of it. That's what I feel like in this society. Even here, even myself, this is the thing as I was looking at it, I was like, man, we are only scratching the surface of this practice. And so I was super leaning in on it in this trip, and I hope that some of these thoughts can help inspire you to say, how can I bring elements like this that help to make this cycle that I'm in, my life, my experience, as healthy, powerful, enjoyable, as strong as possible. Here's the top of Grandfather Mountain. We were hiking basically intermittently in like super fog and rain. And for part, I don't know, half a mile of the trail, it was like just walking up a river that was flowing down at us. And when we got to the top, like most of the time you could not see anything. You could barely see these trees in the foreground. The clouds were so thick. But then you would look out, and occasionally like a little window would open, and I captured one that was like 10 seconds where you could look out and then you could see other mountains and trees like through this window. So that hike was not like the epic views that you might see if you Google Grandfather Mountain, and you can see, these huge views in every direction. But it had its own kind of mysterious beauty. And I do like the analogy of like the window and just being able to look out and for even a moment to see something more clearly. And this is certainly a type of experience that I was having in this fasting sort of space, hiking and leading into it. I was like, oh, this is like a window for me here, because I am seeing that there is so much energy and strength here. And it's something that I maybe have experienced different, points where I've really gotten into it and then, get away from it a little bit. And so here I'm like, oh, like we can see it, the strength to be able to do all of this stuff, not eating anything else, just all the energy coming out of the body. To me, a window to help us see it. Another day we hiked to this beautiful space, Catawba Falls, and this was a shorter day of hiking, but then it was only a couple miles, but then just a lot of splashing around with the dog and the family, and it's pretty hot. And so after a couple big hikes, hiking up to a waterfall and spending the day in some cool stream water, really welcome. A thought like this, in our space, to me, that is saying like, okay, every day doesn't have to be a Pinnacle mountaintop experience. We can have variation in our practice, back off for a little bit, make sure we're enjoying the journey. Everything doesn't have to be pedal to the metal. Take some time, stop, sit by a waterfall, and of course, natural flow of water reminding us, stay hydrated, right? Here's like a super key to our process. Okay, I did all this hiking, no food, but I definitely stay hydrated. I packed double water bottles. I had coffee before we left. And that is loading up for a pleasant fasting space. That's what you want. Show a picture. Here's my guys hiking up the mountain here. I just wanted to show a picture of this trail. I think this must be on this WinterStar hike when we were going, but all the rhododendron flowers, had been blooming all at the start of the week, and then by the end of the week, they're all dropping their petals on the trail. So the whole trail are like these flower petal lined trails that we were walking on. I thought it was kind of a magical thing. Seemed almost like a wedding, It's like, oh, we're throwing the flower petals all down on the ground as we're heading up and walking. And it just felt like a beautiful gift of nature. And I just love it. This is the experience that you have. You get out in nature. It's such an inspiring place, and just breathing the fresh mountain air and all of these things give us as many tailwinds as possible. This is what I am saying about our experience here in the summer. So many tailwinds that we want to lean into the season. And beautiful sun, the open sky, the fresh air, the flowers even doing their part, giving us inspiration. This was our biggest hike up WinterStar Mountain, 10 miles up and down, 3,000 feet up. Described as the most arduous hike, like I said. But beautiful views up at the top, looking out over this space. I felt stronger at the top of this hill than I did at the bottom. And as I was coming down, heading out, like mile 8, mile 9, mile 10, as we're like getting through it, I was, I wouldn't say, sometimes people who are like masterful at like meditation, all this sort of stuff, which I'm not. It's like I wish that I was. People who are super dialed in, especially in a fasting space. Remember these two things, like super dialed into the same sort of space, open space in mind, body, and spirit. I wouldn't say I had any sort of vision, but I did have like big, powerful thoughts, and the thoughts that were just coming were like, man, like there is real strength here. Like that's just the thought that was coming. And I was having thoughts like, I'm not an Army Ranger. Okay. I'm not 20 years old either. Like my son who's just basically run the whole thing. Both of them. But I was like, I'm feeling really strong. And if, we're doing 10 miles, like I was like, if somebody needed somebody to do 20, and it's like, get to the other side of the mountain range, no food, like I would call my own number. That's what I was thinking. Like I can definitely do it. And it just felt like a very grounded, like reality-based strength. And it just felt personally to me very, very encouraging. That's what I want. So just sitting there looking out over this space, I felt so encouraged, and I felt, just strength like I haven't felt in a while. It was like I was trying to reflect in there. What was harder, doing this like arduous mountain hike or doing the century ride? I don't know, They're in the same kind of level, I would say. And the same time frame, we probably spent more time. Well, we definitely did. It took longer, certainly, to do the hike. And I would say I felt stronger doing it, though. And that was the difference. It was my little N of one, not really a study. But, I ate all day doing the century ride, and I ate nothing doing this gigantic hike. And I felt better. I'll say, I don't know. They're not the same event. Maybe I'll go back and I'll do a fasting century. Again, now I'm very curious to compare it. But at least in this experience of my summer leaning in toward exercise and fasting, felt so good. Felt the energy flowing in a huge, huge positive way. Have you experienced this? Have you experienced opening up some fasting space and then experiencing energy coming out of the body in a powerful way? Maybe that's just in a little bit of space. You say, hey, I'm not big into fasting, but hey, I've gotten the okay from my medical team. Try it out. Take a walk, just anything small to start. I told the story before I left. Take a hike, I said, and walk off the weight, right? I told the story of a gentleman that I met in my weight clinic who, when he retired, he just became a walker, and he started dialing up the walking little bits at a time and built it into this huge experience where he just pack a day pack with some water and some backup snack if necessary, and spent the whole day hiking around town. And had incredible weight loss, and felt so good and loved it. This is what I want. This is the only thing I want for people. I want people I want you finding, if you are here trying to dial in on weight loss and health, improving the metabolism, I want you to find something that you just love, that feels good, never forced. Everything that I am talking about, from fasting to exercise, mental health practices, an open exploration of health. And this picture, right? This picture is the feeling that I want people to have. Just like wonder and openness and loving it. Open space. That's what fasting is. Open space. I think that's why I'm drawn to the mountains so much. You see the open space, the potential, the opportunity that is before us. And the thoughts that I'm sitting here thinking about, as I'm sitting looking out at this and just reflecting on, my physical experience, be like, I'm doing this, no food coming in, all the energy coming out of my own body, I think it's important. I think we should talk about it. I want people to know this. Like, this is something that I want people to know. Like, I think most people do not believe that this type of thing is possible. And I just think about all the money and all the supplements and all the things to say. And you know, everybody that I'm hiking with, bless them, it's just fine. But it's like people not in the mindset for it. People just consuming stuff all the time. So you got to keep the energy up. And it's not a problem. It's, you know, especially kids, you know, as kids certainly don't need to lose any weight. Load them up with all the trail mix that you can. But if you are in a space where you say, I'm actually like, I want to use some of this energy within me. How many people know? Do you know? Like, this is real energy that is, say, is it locked up in there? You can use it. You can use it. And here is a space. But so often, have you felt that way? Like it is locked up, and how do you get at it? You say, I don't feel that way. Okay, the big thing that we're trying to do, fasting space, can help you unlock it, because there really is a lock, and that lock is insulin and other hormones that are created by the environment that we are putting the body in, to say it's not time to access that energy, and you really can't get it if the hormone's not allowing it. And so between the practices, creating a mental space of peace and contentment, so our chronic stress level is turning down, that is dialing in on this hormonal state, the cortisol, all these things, trying to get all the processed foods out of our life so that our insulin can stay low, opening up these movement spaces, see space everywhere in mind and body and spirit, so that we can let the energy flow. And that is the unlock. That is the unlock. Here's our last hiking day, Mount Mitchell, highest point east of the Mississippi. And this was a nice way to end the hiking, because the summit here, we did other hiking around the park, but you can basically drive right up to it. It's like 0.2 miles from the parking lot up to the top, and it was and then we get beautiful views like this, looking out without an arduous hike. Tammy Sterling with us. Hey, so nice to have you here. Nice to have you on the channel. How are you doing? Have you been leaning in on the challenge, or are you new coming in? Let me know how you are doing. Yeah, so this is a view from Mount Mitchell. We are looking out, and it's 360 views like this. Actually, on this range, as we're looking around, we can kind of see all the other hikes we did. It was such a nice way to end the trip and see it. And so everybody, if anybody else who's watching coming in new, I've running a little thing, giving everybody simple fasting mug. Are you trying to lean into a fasting space? You want to do it in a very gentle and thoughtful way that is like these pictures. Openness in the body. Shoot me an email, drzee@simplefasting.com. I'll put it in the chat. And if you're here on the replay, same thing applies. There you go. To me, this is something I ordered up one of these for myself a couple years ago when I started up the channel. It's a type of thing is centering to me. Say, oh, this is kind of a grounding thing. Sometimes we say, you know, fasting is nothing. And some people say, oh, like I've described, okay, try to make fasting tangible in a way. You know, when it's nothing, it's like, how do we hang on to it? How do we really get into it when it's nothing? And so here's something you can hang on to, if that is helpful to anybody. I'll hook you up with that. So Mount Mitchell, the air in this place, I'll tell you, it's all a spruce, kind of spruce fir forest, and it was one of the most beautiful spaces just to breathe. We took some time up here. We just sat, we watched the clouds, and took some deep breaths. And it just felt so good. Oh my gosh. I love, like, we're pretty much up over the clouds at this point. And watching some clouds may be one of my favorite things to do. I've got a fasting space video section on the video side of the channel, Fasting with Clouds. If you are feeling like spending a little time, you know, dial in on that one. That was like a little cloud meditation about, like, look at clouds, right? Just the lightness of it floating through a space. Don't you want to have that sort of mindset where you're not tied down by anything, going where the breeze is blowing, not a care in the world, right? If you want to reduce some stress, sit and watch a cloud. You can meditate on that. And also, it's like, it is like pure hydration. This is what we're trying to do in a fasting space. Stay hydrated, find lightness, both in the mind and the body. To me, cloud is a perfect metaphor. All right, I think I got a few photos, fun things to end the trip. Okay, on the way back from North Carolina to Madison, we just randomly stayed in Corbin, Kentucky, which it turns out is the home of the original Kentucky Fried Chicken. And like, who knew? And so everybody in my family seemed to be very excited about it. I was like, you know, see, this is fast food, not my thing, but I'm like, you know, when in Corbin, okay, we'll go to KFC. It's like a museum of all things KFC there. And I was thinking, like, I don't think I'm going to eat this. It must have been 2 decades since I ate a KFC. And I was like, you know, I'm like, my family's excited. We're all going to get the big bucket of stuff. I was like, I'm just going to eat some KFC. I've got, you know, we got all the trail food. I'm like, I could eat some of my pack of nuts and be just fine. And I was like, I probably should do that. That'd be the healthy choice, right? But I'm like, you know, listen, I'm trying to take my own medicine, you know? So I'm like, I will just do it. And then I was talking myself into it. I was like, it's chicken. It can't be that bad, right? And so I got green beans side, and I'll have a couple pieces of chicken. I would say my experience eating it, I mean, I haven't had... The closest thing that I ever do to fast food is like a Qdoba or a Chipotle. You know, I will do that sometimes. Never any burger stuff, okay? Oh. And yeah, a long time since KFC. So salty. This is my thing. Do you have a KFC? It's so salty. I was like, oh my goodness. But it wasn't so bad, like eating it. I was like, oh, this is okay. It's like some chicken and some green beans. But I'll tell you, I didn't feel good. I just didn't feel good. Like about 20 minutes later, I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have done it. That's how I felt. I was like, it wasn't worth it. And I'm not going to do it again. This is my big encouragement to you. It's like, just stay away from the fast food. If you end up in Corbin, you know, it is kind of fun to look at all the stuff and, you know, think about it. But like, you know, okay. This is where we stayed in Corbin. We were, you know, staying at Airbnbs across the way, and we found this little tiny house Airbnb. And this was just fun. Kids loved it. We just, you know, we got in late, and we ate our KFC in the screen porch. And the screen porch, I think the volume of the screen porch is about double the entire house. And we just actually had such a fun time staying in here. Crazy Horse is with us. Hello to you. I hope you are doing well. Great pictures. Thank you. Gotta go hiking. Yes, absolutely. It's just, what a beautiful thing to do. I always say walking is the world's healthiest activity. I think it is. And then to put that into a hike, you know, is all the better. Got this Simple Fasting coffee cup. Awesome. Glad to hear it. Keep fasting. Love it. Love it. Here, I'll show you the inside of this house. This is me standing on the very far edge of the house. And then heading in, like you can see the kitchen. Through the door is the bathroom. Like all the shelves are built into that space under the stairs, and a little stairs heading up to the bed. And if we were to flip around, you'd see a tiny bed on the other side, and that's the whole thing. But they got a mini split in there, and it was 100 degrees, and it was it's basically like a tiny refrigerator, so we were actually very comfortable. But Yes, private consulting is available. Thank you for asking. I don't, pump it or anything. But if you look, links in the description, I've got 2 programs. Dr. Z Method is specifically an insulin resistance reduction program for type 2 diabetes, pre-diabetes, anything like that. I think it's an awesome program. I'm going to be privately live streaming to a wonderful group of people in that community later today. And then you'll see the link, simplefasting.com. I got consulting there. I'm in person consulting in Wisconsin. And then, people, right now, my medical license just in Wisconsin, that's where it's easiest to consult with me. If you're out of Wisconsin, just send me an email and we talk about different options and things. And be happy to connect. Love doing it. Yeah. Send me an email. Thank you for asking. So tiny house, I got to tell you, rounding out the trip, it was really interesting. Tiny house, I don't think I've ever been in a tiny house like this. And I've done a couple of these live sessions on minimalism and fasting. And which, minimalism as a concept, I'm like super into, and fasting I always describe as minimalism for the body. And it was like, you take these ideas of minimalism that like we don't want too much, but it's not that we want nothing either. It's just we want the best things, the things that we have, we want to be high value, high utility, nothing wasted. To me, all these principles of minimalism is fasting to me. And so to bring it in, this is like max level minimalism to me. I was like, wow, we have really cranked this to an interesting place. Is a little much for me. I'm not gonna sell my house and move into the tiny house. Just I'm just saying. But it was interesting to experience, and everybody had fun with it for sure. So, from my perspective, a place to derive analogies as much as anything. And then ending up the trip, we visited some family. Here's Dr. Z. Can you pick me out? We went to a theme park and rode some roller coasters and water slides and this stuff. Kentucky Kingdom. We were in Louisville on our way back, and a good time was had by all. So as we think about this cycle of the vacation, right? The experience of fasting throughout this process, leaning into it. This is what I'm wanting to do for everybody. Just, I'm doing it along with you. Lean In Challenge, week 4, we've been going through in the summer. Say summer is the time we're trying to make hay while the sun shines, right? You think about the hardest times in the year to lose weight is like Thanksgiving, Christmas, whatever your holidays are. It's like there's treats everywhere and it's cold outside and it's hard to move, and it's like we have like everything stacked against us. And here we are at the complete inversion of that. It's warm out. You can find a time in the day that is the right temperature. Maybe that's early or late. But the sun is shining and the flowers are blooming and everything is green and beautiful on some days. Or if it's foggy, like our hike up Grandfather Mountain, it's like there's its own beauty. And so, and then the food in the summer, we just said, did you have a good 4th? If you're stateside here with me, did you have a good 4th? Most of the food, so much of the food in the summer, people grilling brats, and you can have a burger with half a bun if you're open to it and some extra lettuce. If you're trying to get some lower carb sort of options, it's a lot easier to eat in a lower carb, lower processed food way with summer holidays and with winter holidays. Most of the winter holidays, we get so much baking and so much cookies and all these sort of things that it's a real challenge, right? So I want people as much as possible say lean in. That's why I call our challenge lean in. I say lean out by leaning in, right? We're trying to lean out. We want to be leaner and stronger. And fasting plus exercise, just an incredible way to do both of these things. And I am appreciating this in a deeper and more profound way after my experience. But lean into it now. I say, let's make as much progress as we can in the summer, and then we'll keep trying to do it in the fall. So we got the momentum going as like getting that train running like it's an old steam engine, and we got to climb up the hill. It's like we want to build up a head of steam so we can smash through the winter. Okay, it's gonna come, but it's a long way off. Okay, don't worry. But here we are in the summer. This is where we're trying to build up our momentum right now, when it's as easy as it'll ever get. Do you agree? Like, is summer as easy as it will ever get? Maybe not in our own personal life in our season, because there's many variables. If you're going through a difficult or stressful time, of course, that can happen at any point, and then that becomes the most difficult. But just as a broad stroke, okay, a lot of natural benefit to trying to lose weight in the summer. So I'm saying let's just lean into it. One of the thoughts I was having as I was hiking along for hours and hours was just like the concept of a weight loss vacation. And this is something I've been thinking, I love doing these live sessions. I love connecting with people live. I've been thinking, should I make an actual video for the channel? It was coming to me, a weight loss vacation. Many times a vacation, we have the mindset, it's like, vacation is just like relax, and this is just fine. But like, let's think about a comparison of two vacations. Vacation that is just relax, like the cliche would be like, we're just going to sit on the beach. This has been the experience of our vacations in our family. When I used to plan the vacations, here is how it went. Especially when I was completely strung out at my university practice, I was like, okay, we are booking a flight and we are renting a condo on the beach in Florida, and we are going to go and sit and just watch the ocean. And we did this actually a number of times. I found a condo that is like right by a natural food store, and so I'm like, we're just going to fly down. We got a little kitchen. We're just going to get food, and we're going to cook delicious food, and we're going to sit on the beach. And this was great. And for the right sort of time, it's like you got to do it, But then I remember sitting on the beach at like the fifth vacation of like sitting on the beach, and my wife was like, she's like, we've got to go do some stuff. Like, we cannot just sit here anymore. And so then she started finding Florida hikes for us, and it was her that really like started getting the hiking bug for us. And now I don't know if we are like 5 years in on just all of our vacations have been like super hiking around the country, and we've been hiking national parks and Yellowstone and Tetons and Utah and across Arizona and Texas and Florida now on the east, and Rocky Mountains. We've been Zimmermann family hikers now, big time. And my wife, an incredible planner, she planned all these hikes and all this stuff. And I was like, you plan the trip, and like we just get healthier, like we get stronger, and we have these experiences. And ironically, I plan the trips, and we just kind of sit around and eat. Like, this is like, so I was reflecting on this, and very grateful for that. As we were planning this, we're putting this all together. We're getting ready to leave on the hike. I've been working so much and all these things. I was like, why aren't we going back to the beach? I was saying that, I was like, why aren't we just going back to the beach? But like, and then here it turned out, and this was the most epic, fun thing. And then it created this space where I was able to lean into this fasting space, which has been such an inspiration to me in this. And I feel so much stronger coming back from this trip. And so I was reflecting on it. Okay, a weight loss vacation. This was a weight loss vacation. I mean, everybody in our family, I think, leaner coming back, especially me, because I was the one that was leaning in on the fasting space with it. And I'm feeling much stronger than when I left. And I'm feeling like so empowered now to like just take like the next step. Like, one of the thoughts that came to me, so many thoughts coming to me, and I don't know what your experience has been. My experience, both with exercise and with fasting space, is both of these are like spaces that can really drill into the mind and help to unlock thinking. And if I want to do my best thinking, I'm always going to do that in a fasting space. Sometime if I'm stuck, dialing on an exercise space. Sometimes, you get out on a run or a walk and it's like 20 minutes out and all of a sudden it's like another avenue to start breaking through some barriers. Good morning. So nice to have you here. Still doing my fasting, although I kind of fell off this past weekend. Hey, it's a holiday weekend. Much grace, no stress. Get back to it this week. That is the thing to do. Absolutely. You're in the right place here and the right mindset. And I hope you had a beautiful weekend. Thank you for being here. Yeah, but definitely the one of the thoughts that was coming to me, one of these hikes, I just felt like the body was saying, like, you can be a lot stronger. This is one of the messages. It's like, you can be a lot stronger. Like, you've got to open your mind to strength here. And it was just such an encouraging thought. And then I was kind of like, meta thinking about it. I was like, isn't this interesting? I've like really pushed into a space, stretching myself here, both with fasting and with this hiking. And look at the messages that are coming to me. I'm feeling stronger. I'm feeling like the body's saying, you can be a lot stronger. I was feeling like the body is like, wants it, Body wants to be strong. And so I am feeling very inspired personally by it. Say, I've got to lean into this personally. I'm going to be a lot stronger in the future. And, another thought was like, even in my own self, as somebody who's like running an entire fasting consulting, media sort of thing, the body was saying, hey, look, like, this is really good. Like, you are not even appreciating how good this is for you. And it's like, you don't lean into it like the way that you might. And the feeling was like the body was like, thank you. Like, this is like a major vacation for us, We are cleaning house. We are strengthening up, powering up. Can you feel the energy flowing? I was like, yeah, I'm like feeling it. I'll tell you, we really overclocked our dog. I show you, like, our dog is like, this is a city dog, is like, I run with our dog. I'll go out like 2-3 miles, 4 miles sometime. Dog loves it, but then just, knocked out for the day. And taking the dog on the most arduous hike east of the Mississippi, it was a little much for the dog. And she loved it. But by mile, 8 of rocks and all this stuff, her poor paws were getting really sore, and so she would stop and she's like licking them and think, I'm like, this was too much for the dog. Loved having the dog on the trip. All the other hikes were good, but that peak hike, especially at the end, it was just too much for her. And so I was sitting here at the end of this hike and I was thinking, I was feeling bad for the dog. I'm like, man, we still got a mile and a half to go. And I'm having these thoughts that I'm expressing to you. Like, I'm feeling stronger and stronger as we go. I'm thinking, I haven't eaten anything in 24 hours. I am feeling the strongest I've almost felt in years. Like, I just can't believe it. And I'm watching this poor dog, and I'm like, I can just carry the dog. And so I did. I carried the dog about a mile. Dog's about 35 pounds. And that was hard, I will tell you, but it felt so good. It just felt like the thing to me. I don't know how this life, works, but it just felt like the thing that was supposed to happen, because I was like, look, not only am I finishing this hike, I'm feeling stronger there. I'm going to carry also the dog. I'm going to help the dog out. And that was a little painful, mainly in the biceps. I'm like, there's not... I was carrying my kids' pack, so I had double packs of our stuff, and I was like, Anna, so I can't really throw her over my shoulder. The dog was so happy. I'm trying to just lock arms, hold the dog. I didn't carry it straight for a mile, okay? I'd do a quarter mile, set it down, let it walk a spell, kind of shake out the arms, and then she'd start licking the paws again, and then I would carry again. And that is where I was having some of this really deepest thinking about, like, just strength and leaning into the body, and body is saying, no, you got to be stronger, and you can be stronger, and like, look at this, like, here's an opportunity to lean into it even right now. End of a day, it's like 5 o'clock at night, and we've been hiking since 7 in the morning, and look, you can just ramp it up. And ramp it up is like, take a step. I was like, I never could have imagined starting out that I would be doing that, and yet the energy is still there. And I just, I was so grateful for it. Even when it was hurting my arms a bit, I was like, this is like a beautiful thing to be doing. And it was just showing me, okay, like, you have strength here that you don't know about. And that's, to me, what I was saying, really inspiring. And so I'm not trying to, I feel bad even saying it. I'm not trying to, like, brag about it or anything. I'm just trying to say this was my human experience, and I want people to experience strength, okay? And I say strength like that is not something that I've been experiencing. I'll do a workout, I'll go work out for 30 minutes, and I go about my day. And I was like, we just leveled this up on this, like, after hiking for how long? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hours hiking, and then do this massive carry. I was watching, sometimes I'll watch different fitness, things and think about resistance training. And I was watching this guy the other day, some, elite trainer guy's video just popped up on my YouTube. And he was talking about, simple minimalist exercises. And I forget this whole guy's story, but he, incredibly strong guy. And, one of the main exercises he just does, he just grabs dumbbells and he just walks around his neighborhood, and because he is totally ripped, he's like carrying 2 30-pound dumbbells around. I'm not going to be at that level, But he's like, you don't understand how much strength is just happening when you carry a weight, in your hands. It's like you're loading your entire frame, in a completely functional movement. And I was like, oh, this is, so as I was carrying my dog down the mountain, then I'm just thinking about this guy in his video. I was like, this is really like a key human activity, Think about people and the history of people just carrying stuff, There didn't used to be gyms. There didn't used to be exercise contraptions of any kind. People just walking around and working and carrying stuff, And so to me, it felt, what is the word? Very grounding about, like, the history of people. I was like, here we are doing something that people have been doing. Most of these trails, we were on the hike up Grandfather Mountain. It was the Daniel Boone Scout Trail. So you think, oh, Daniel Boone is here exploring this country, and presumably, I think, like, he's just following indigenous trails. People been in these places for thousands of years, and I always have, or at least sometimes I have that thought too, like when I'm hiking out in some wilderness and you're on this trail, you could never make it through a wilderness without a trail. And where did these trails come from? From just generations and generations of people walking around and carrying stuff around these exact places. And this is how people lived and navigated through these places. And so to be out in a space like that, fasting space too, and then fasting to me in that space is like so much amplifying it. Because like sometimes I'll be hiking out in a space like that, and I think about, man, you just turn the clock back a tiny bit. We're back, here we are at the holiday, 250, 250 years of America here. But I mean, isn't this just like 1 second tick on a cosmic clock? And you realize, okay, we go a second back, and there's not even a U.S. anymore, and we've got indigenous peoples that are just living here, and we're just like way back all of a sudden. And to me, I always used to think, like, how did people do this? How are people living here? And it's like, all of a sudden you start tapping into some fasting strength and you realize, oh my gosh, like there's no 7-Eleven and I'm just fine. You know, I got a couple beef sticks in the pack if like we need it. It's like just to find that sort of strength. This is my long-winded rambling of just saying it felt like such a deep human activity to be on these ancient trails and in a fasting space and finding strength and power in that space, and just felt connecting, kind of like reaching back in time and thinking of like the history of all the people that have come through these trails for generations. And here we are now, and now we're carrying something. How much stuff were they carrying? Maybe they shot some deer, you know, somewhere, and they're carrying it back to wherever they were. You know, I don't know how it worked. I'm just thinking through the things. And anyway, these were my experience. So, this whole big thing was a thought, like weight loss vacation. I was telling the story, like if I was just, you know, I'm not a logistics guy. If I have to plan something, I'm like, okay, we'll go sit on the beach. And we'll do it again sometime. It's a good thing to do. Take a load off if it's the right time. But even not thinking it is, how incredible is it? So many times, okay, I'm in, my weight management clinic, right? People coming in, this is a common thing that happens, okay, as many people experience something like that. You get on track with something, you get off. That can happen with the fasting, exercise, dietary plan, anything, right? Say, oh, for a while I was fasting and then I kind of got out of it. And then we did the sessions restarting fasting, sometimes restarting harder than even starting the first time. Absolutely it is. And then it's like that for anything because we build up some skill and patterns and routines. And then we compare the peak of our experience and performance to where we have to start over. And then we experience that gap that you don't experience the first time you start out with something. Same thing with exercise, same thing with anything. Okay, so this is a common experience. People are on track with some sort of weight loss process. And say, everything was going so well until, right? And then it's like, then we went on vacation, right? Then we got out of the habit, right? And it could be anything else. Could be, okay, then like the illness happened or my family member had to go to the hospital or something. This is like, now we're sitting and eating cafeteria food and it's a terrible, stressful time, right? So many different ways that can derail our health progress. But ironically, one of them can be taking a vacation. They say vacation is supposed to be the most positive, refreshing sort of thing. So I think a vacation is something you got to really dial in the mindset. It's okay to have a beach vacation. I say, but how can you turn it into the most healthy and positive thing? Can you bring some fasting onto a beach vacation? Say, just sit on the beach with a coffee. Isn't so many times I say, oh, people start saying, oh, now I'm on vacation. Now I have to start, eating 3 times a day plus snacks and all these things. And people put on a lot of weight on vacations, and then it's like hard to restart. And so I love the concept of a weight loss vacation. And fasting is the sort of thing to me that can make it so much better. Whether you're having a very exercise-focused vacation like we just did, like here would be like a Pinnacle sort of thing, I say, hiking, and fasting. And it's like, that would be like, to me, about like, it's got to be on the pretty extreme end of vacation, I say. Or you're like Dr. Z original vacation, where it's like, okay, we're going to sit on the beach, maybe have a sparkling water instead of an alcoholic beverage. That would be a Dr. Z preferred choice. Maybe I'm going to say bring fasting on vacation. And if we're just going to sit, remember, I like to say, if like fasting, you can just sit, right? Let fasting do the work. You don't have to be hiking up a mountain like anybody else. We're not in any sort of comparison space. We're saying, what do we need right now? If we need to just sit, I know I've needed that at places in my life where I was like, I cannot do another thing. I need like 12 hours of sitting and looking at the ocean, and like that's its own therapy. But like if you want to take that space, we want multiple win-wins, right? We want win-win-win across every domain. get to a vacation space. See, the benefit of a vacation specifically, as I'm seeing now, it's a total pattern interrupt. It's like, get us out of our routines. Like, especially if we don't like the routines that we're in, take a vacation. Okay, get out of the space. Now we're opening stuff up. All of a sudden, all the triggers that are in our normal way of life, okay, those aren't there. And so this is opening up change. This is the thing. This is kind of why we fear change. Could be better, but could be worse. And then it's like, so often we don't change because we just keep the status quo. We've gone through in the playlist, Thinking Fast and Slow, getting us super into that a lot of the emotional, cognitive, deep centers in the body, it just wants the status quo because we feel safe when everything is the same. And so now a vacation, hopefully thoughtfully planned, here's an opportunity to break out of a cycle, get all the cues out of our environment, like we're seeing from Atomic Habits. Create something new. So I say weight loss vacation be the opportunity to create a framework where we can have a lot of win-wins, get out of previous ways of thinking and into something different. And it could be max level, like hiking the Blue Ridge Mountains, or it could be heading to the beach and say, just sit. And here's where I would just dial in with that for you right now. It's like, wherever you're at, fasting can make it better if you are trying to lose weight. Like somebody who is like underweight is, okay, look at all the disclaimers. Fasting is a tool, okay? Fasting a tool to help get at energy that is stuck in the body that we want to get out. Somebody doesn't need to be fasting, don't take a fasting vacation, okay? But if you are, say, okay, I'm on a path. Either if we're not on the path, we're trying to get on it, or on the path, we're trying to stay on it. Create a beautiful experience where you can let fasting help you on vacation so you can have a beautiful time, stress reducing. Also enjoy food. I enjoyed a ton of food on my fasting vacation, but OMAD, right? 1 meal a day. It's like we have all this hiking, all this open space. It's like don't even think about food. To me, I'm just like out in the world, feeling the energy flowing. And then we come back. Now we're in the Airbnb. Now, because I've got a thoughtful partner who did all the planning, now we have a beautiful meal and we cook it and we eat it. And it's like, oh man, it's so good. And to me, fasting can heighten and highlight the beauty of good food. And so this would be the incredible balance. Can you have a vacation, we say consider it a weight loss vacation where we're both, the stress is going down and we're losing weight and we're enjoying food at the same time and we're having fun. Like, see, this would be the way to just be crushing it across every level. And so if you're in a good flow, bring it on the vacation. You don't have to get out of that. Sometimes I think there can be a lot of pressure to say, oh, like we're on vacation now. Now it has to look like this. It has to be, we have to start eating all the things and we have to eat out a lunch and a dinner and maybe a breakfast too. And like, you don't have to do stuff like that. And wouldn't it be great to come back from a vacation and feel better and have had fun and have lost weight? And that's what I want for people. Weight loss vacation, I think I gotta turn it into a video. We'll take the concepts where it's not just me rambling on for 20 minutes about it, trying to get the thoughts out. We'll put it into 4 minutes. I'll write a note to do it. How are you feeling? Let me know. I tell you another thing about a vacation, just to take a break. I got to tell you, take a week off. Been quite a while since I took a week off. I've been doing the lives every day. I guess I took the week off going to Peru. Okay, I did, but that was really kind of a working vacation. But this was like a true vacation. But it is feeling good to be back and doing this. You know, it's such an interesting environment. You know, it felt so good to be out in nature. You know, I was pretty much screen free for the whole time. I mean, I got the GPS on the phone driving, you know, it's like, that's kind of like screen time, but like, not really, you know. You let me know what you think. I did the video on the channel, digital fasting. And so there's another dose of my own medicine. Try to get the screens out for a week. I got to tell you, it felt so good. And just to be looking at sky and clouds and trees and dirt and stuff, you know, I feel totally refreshed and rejuvenated. And so now it's so interesting to be back here in this space. I got cameras and screens and lights, and I'm like all in this artificial sort of space. But, you know, it feels good. And this is the balance. We all need balance in our life. And so to me, this is a big thing that we are trying to do. We are trying to find a balance across every domain, balancing our time outside and inside, and working and resting, and then the special balance, eating and fasting. And this is a balance. I was reflecting on it. I've been in a couple places I've been. We kicked off, I didn't put it on this, the night before we left, we went to a concert over in Milwaukee, watched Ed Sheeran. The kids really wanted to get to Ed Sheeran. I don't know. I had never listened to Ed Sheeran. But the kids liked him. So I say, well, we bought him tickets and we went to a concert. So we're, you know, in a huge, you know, amphitheater of all the people. You get into a space and, you know, anytime I'm in a giant crowd of people, I start reflecting, you know, on, it's like, oh, like just society. Like it's easy to see. It's like, oh, we're looking at tens of thousands of people here. And like, what is the experience that everybody is having? And I just am wondering, like, how many of these people know? Like, how many people know that you don't have to eat all the time, actually, you know? And I'm just watching people. And this is fine. I'm not being judgy of anybody, right? Just like, but I'm just watching everybody go into the concession stand, drinking sodas and beverages of all kinds and eating all these sort of things. And then I'm just thinking, like, okay, how much balance? Like, where is the balance? And how many people need to know it? That's what I want. How many people would benefit from just knowing that, okay, fasting, here is a space that can be gentle, where you can actually feel good. This is like tying in this thought. Like our experience, the barrier to entry to a fasting space is feeling hungry. I don't like feeling hungry as much as anyone else does. You see, that is a space that it just feels like, it's like, not necessarily like pain, but it can definitely be uncomfortable. And like, I totally understand that. It's like, we're trying to like realize though, that by practicing fasting, that we can build a relationship with it, that we start to see, oh, this is a barrier that isn't as high as we thought it was at some point, and that we can work our way through it and come to master it. And this is what I want. And so I'm seeing, how do we help? This is my thoughts as I'm looking at crowds of people. How do we help create a message? This is what I would ultimately love to do in this space. How do we create a platform, a message to help people see, okay, you don't have to brute force people through it. Think of how fasting is described by people who are cynical about it. So we're just starving ourselves in some fashion, very negative connotation. How do we help people to see pictures like I'm showing, the mountaintop, that fasting is openness and an exploration of energy in the body, that it can be like liberating energy, and that you can come to feel stronger, and that it is a pathway to help release energy, to power life, and to spur us on toward our goals. And so, like, at least in my head, from my biased perspective, the thoughts as I'm thinking out over people is like compassionate sort of thoughts, at least what I'm trying. Like, how do we help people to see that fasting can be a way of being? This is something that I talk about very much on the channel. A way of being in the world is what we're looking for, that is balanced. Just to find the line. How many times a day do I eat that helps to bring things into balance in the metabolism, in the body, in the mind, in the spirit? If that's 3 times, like, bless you, is fine. If fasting is not required, if you don't need it, if everything's great, beautiful. But like, so many people struggle. And like, here is another balance. point. Struggle versus flow. I talk a lot about this. Struggle toward health is real. It's difficult to be healthy in this modern moment. It takes work and dedication and effort. And then on the other side of it, the real way to do that is finding a space of flow where we can flow through it. And I want to help you do that on the channel here. Really wonderful to share this space with you. Thank you for being here. Look forward to continuing the journey together. Have a great day, everybody.